There is a near universal dream, almost like a software running in our brains. It's the dream of building something better for the next generation. We work hard, we sacrifice so that our children can have a better life than we did. It's the fundamental engine of progress. But what happens when a nation pushes that engine so hard that it breaks? What happens when the demand for progress becomes so extreme, so consuming that it begins to devour the very future it's supposed to be building? Welcome to modern China. For 40 years, the world has watched as it has essentially had an economic miracle. But beneath the gleaming skyscrapers and the bullet trains, a crisis has been growing. The nation's relentless work culture hasn't just built an economic superpower, it created a demographic collapse that is now beginning to explode. In 2025, China's population will have declined for the fourth year in a row, losing over 3.2 million people, while the median age of their rapidly aging population will surpass 40 years old for the first time. At the heart of this crisis is a number you may have heard of, 996. It's the unofficial but often mandatory work schedule at the heart of China's tech industry and beyond. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week. It's a formula for high economic output, but it's also a formula for human exhaustion. And this isn't a fringe practice. It is essentially a symbol of national ambition. The result is a workforce stretched to its absolute limit, with the government survey revealing that Chinese white-collar workers work on average about 49 hours per week, far exceeding the legal limit. It is important to point out that the 996 work schedule is technically not legal, so any government surveys may be a bit skewed and actually undercount the amount of work done. What we have here is essentially a culture of extreme work that creates a generation of young people who are too broke and too tired to even think about starting a family. China's youth are often trapped in a grueling cycle of what is called nejuan, a soul-crushing rat race for diminishing returns. Despite their long hours, many struggle to get ahead, facing staggering youth unemployment rates that hit a record high of over 21% in mid-2023 and still stand at a very high number of around 15% today. Even for those who secure a coveted tech job, the dream of a family-supporting lifestyle is colliding with a brutal economic reality. The cost of living in major cities like Beijing and Shanghai have skyrocketed, putting traditional milestones like buying a home completely out of reach for many. In Shenzhen, the heart of China's tech industry, the average home price is an astonishing 36 times the annual salary. It is an impossibly high number, which ensures that many workers will work impossibly long hours to pay off an impossibly insurmountable mountain of debt. So what we have here is essentially a pressure cooker of financial stress and chronic exhaustion. The cost of raising a child in China is now one of the highest in the world relative to its GDP per capita. A 2022 study estimates the cost of raising a child to 18 in China is nearly 7 times its GDP per capita. For women, the calculation is even more brutal. China's workforce has what's known as a severe motherhood penalty. Women frequently face discrimination in hiring and see large wage reductions for each child and are often overlooked for promotions or even fired after becoming pregnant. The idea of having a child seems less like a joy and more like a massive burden. And this has pushed many ambitious women to make a devastating choice: career or child. A survey of Jinyanshan, a town in Hunan province, showed that 76% of local women said they did not want a second child. Among them, 85% cited the negative impact on career as a reason. Women with a college degree or higher often cite the negative impact on their career as a major reason for not having children. And the result of this insane pressure is a catastrophic collapse in the national birth rate. Young people are not just postponing having kids, they are giving up the idea entirely, a phenomenon known as lying flat or Tang. They are staging a quiet rebellion against a system that demands everything from them and offers a family life in return that is untenable. This rebellion is reflected in the data. China's fertility rate has plummeted to a record low of 1.0. China's government is now in a state of panic. They've abandoned the one-child policy. They're offering cash bonuses. They abandoned the two-child policy. Now they have a three-child policy. They're giving tax breaks. They're giving extended maternity leave, but it is not working. You cannot command people to have children when you've created a culture that makes it impossible for them to raise them. Despite these new policies, the number of newborns registered in China fell 5.7% to 9.02 million in 2023, and the birth rate was a record low of 6.39 births per 1,000 people. And this demographic collapse is in full swing. China's workforce is already shrinking and aging at a terrifying pace. This is the end of China's demographic dividend, the economic boom fueled by a massive young workforce. The number of people of working age in China is projected to fall by more than 200 million by 2050. This shrinking workforce has to support a tsunami of retirees. The nation's pension system is on a collision course with insolvency, as fewer young workers have to support a growing older population. The number of workers supporting each retiree is set to collapse from nearly 5 in 2020 to just 1.5 by 2050. So what does this mean for the future? It means the China we thought we knew, the unstoppable economic juggernaut destined to overtake the US, may not exist. The country is facing a future of stagnant growth, immense social welfare burdens, and a potential crisis of national identity. A nation's power is built on the energy and innovation of its youth, and China is running out of them. And the irony is that China's ambition and drive to become the world's number one power at all costs is now the very thing crippling it from within. It has sacrificed its own future generation at the altar of economic growth. The story of China is a warning to the world about the human cost of a relentless work culture, and recognizing that a nation's most valuable resource isn't its factories or its technology, but its children that ensure the nation's future. And the government may hope to fix this with policy, but the problem is now deeply cultural. An entire generation has been taught that their value is their productivity, and that generation has responded by opting out of the one human act that a spreadsheet cannot measure. They are choosing for themselves, and in doing so, they are sealing the fate of their nation. The miracle is over, and the bill is now due. So what do you think? Will China's work culture create permanent barriers to family formation? And how do you see China's demographic future playing out? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing. This has been Blinded by Logic. Thanks for watching.